What's up, you guys? So, as season 6 of The Real Housewives of Potomac approaches, the returning housewives are starting to stir things up online. And Candiace, who's never been afraid to stir the pot, has stirred up some interesting conversation online by claiming that fans give her a harder time compared to Ashley Darby because Ashley is lighter skinned and she has darker skin, implying that people are more forgiving to people with lighter skin. Candiace made the claim under a post by the blog All True Tea, which covers pop culture and housewives news, so make sure you give them a follow at the link in the description box. Someone posted, "This reel shows how reckless Ashley's mouth has been and still is. Yet Candiace was the villain and ganged up on by so many fans. It's crazy how Ashley was, in my opinion, worse, but people want to ignore that. I wonder why." And Candiace responded and said, "Because she's light skinned." There, it was said. I said it. Now let's see how fast it gets around. And then someone responded and said, "When it was her turn, we hated her too." Then other people were actually agreeing with Candiace and said, 100, child, we got you. We've been saying it for you. They can act obtuse all they want. We can clearly see the difference. And somebody else said, "Ashley is closer to white, so her antics are praised and rewarded. Ashley can defend her creep husband, and he is a creep, and viewers still go up for her." And then someone else said, "Don't forget, Ashley is half white." And someone else pointed out, they said, "You're absolutely correct. They would have never given her mother, as in Candiace's mother, the grace that they gave to Ashley's mom." And then Candy agreed with that person. She said, "At all, they wouldn't have given her mother, if she was homeless, the grace that they gave to Ashley's mother when she was homeless." I've shared before on my channel studies that I've come across that literally prove that some people in a position of judgment are more forgiving to people with lighter skin compared to those with darker skin, like this one from the Social Science Journal, which compared the prison sentences assigned to lighter skinned Black women compared to darker skinned Black women. In the abstract, it explains, it says there is a long history of social science research on the importance of race for determining life outcomes. However, there are relatively few social science studies on the importance of skin tone within racial groups. Some recent research has documented the quantifiable advantages associated with having a lighter skin shade, particularly in terms of occupational attainment and earnings among Blacks. A handful of studies focusing on Black men have suggested that when authorities perceive offenders as having a lighter skin shade, it translates into more lenient criminal justice outcomes. The present analysis extends this line of inquiry by examining how perceived skin tone, assessed by the correctional officers, is related to maximum prison sentence and actual time served for over 12,000 Black women in prison in North Carolina between 1995 and 2009. Controlling for several factors, the results indicated that Black women deemed to have lighter skin tone receive more lenient prison sentences and serve less time behind bars. That was the conclusion, that Black women with lighter skin tones receive more lenient prison sentences and serve less time behind bars. And there have been multiple studies that prove that people in a position of judgment see lighter skinned people as being more likely to be innocent and more worthy of forgiveness or redemption than people with darker skin tones. So when someone like Candiace with a darker skin tone says that she sees fans judging her more harshly than someone with a lighter skin tone like Ashley, I personally can believe her because it's something that I've educated myself on. And while as a blogger who's constantly plugged into social media, I do see people dragging Ashley pretty regularly on social media because of her enabling her white male husband, who has physically assaulted several men on the show and in production. When I watch the show, it does seem like the women on the show are more forgiving of Ashley than they are of Candiace, and they avoid labeling Ashley as aggressive like they do Candiace and Wendy, even though Ashley gets just as loud and just as aggressive. Giselle has called both Candiace and Wendy aggressive on the show, which was triggering for them because of the way that word aggressive is used to masculinize darker skinned Black women. You don't see Giselle using that same verbiage to describe Ashley, who has been very aggressive towards the other women on the show, especially Robin and her relationship with Juan, and Monique when she accused her of driving under the influence. She was very aggressive about it. So I can see where Candiace is coming from when she says that Ashley is judged more leniently because of her light skin. And as a blogger, I also noticed that on reality TV, darker skinned women on cast are expected to be humble. And when they're not humble toward the lighter skinned women on the cast, it causes controversy among the cast. Even with the preview of the next season of Real Housewives of Potomac season 6, where you see a lighter skinned woman toss a salad onto Candiace. If you look on social media, you see more people blaming Candiace for doing whatever she did to upset that woman. And you barely see people actually blaming that woman for her own actions. Take a look. That's what I noticed. But I would like to know what y'all think. Leave a comment and share your thoughts. Do you agree with Candiace? Do you think people are more forgiving of Ashley than they are of Candiace because Ashley appears more innocent to them than Candiace? Leave a comment and share your thought. By the way, you guys, I mentioned earlier in the video an article from the Social Science Journal called The Impact of Light Skin on Prison Time for Black Female Offenders. I'm going to put a link to this article, this study, as well as a few other studies. I'll put a link to those in the description box and in the comment section for those of you who want to check it out and educate yourself. Those links will be there.